All right. Okay, so this is really a primary example of why it's really important to be a person of influence and to speak up about important issues. And I know it's been blowing up massively. Ruslan has reacted on it. I'm pretty sure that a lot of a lot of Christian content creators are probably going to be reacting about this and commenting about this because it's a big deal. I know there's a lot of different sides to this whole thing, and people tend to get really you can't ignore the political side of it because it has to be political. I mean, we can't ignore it because politics are about the voice of the people and those who are supposed to be representing the voice of the people and so on. And we all share different opinions and political views and etc. But there comes a point in time where humanity just needs to kind of learn to be humanity. Let's just hold still for a second and let's just talk about some things rationally. Sometimes common sense isn't common enough, but it's not common enough because sometimes we're just not using it. People are not using common sense enough. Okay, it's not complicated. It's never been a complicated issue. I think we just tend to complicate things that shouldn't be complicated at all. And it's great that Pat Robertson. Okay, I grew up watching this guy at the 50/50 Club or something on TVN networks since I was a teenager. All right, yeah, I'm surprised he's still alive. To be honest with you, I'm surprised he's still alive. But I haven't watched TVN since forever. I haven't listened to this guy in a long time up until he just popped up on my news feed because he's all over Twitter. He's all over everywhere. I saw Ruslan reacting to him and so on. And it's really interesting because he came out talking about the logics, should I say, how logical it ought to be for someone to distinguish the difference between a taser and a simple comparison between a taser and a gun. Okay, it's really simple. There's just too many people dying, and one life is just one life too much. That's what people don't seem to realize. That person is connected to somebody. It's a father of somebody, it's a mother of somebody, it's a sister of somebody, brother of somebody, husband, wife of somebody. It's a colleague to somebody, it's an employer to somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's one life too much. There's just too many stupid incidents that are going on, and we're talking about the ones that are being reported out there. And the thing that kind of doesn't surprise me is that it happens because it's always happened. It's a reality to some people, it's not a reality to some people. And if it's not a reality to you, if you're watching this and you probably listen to different kinds of people argue that, look, there is no such thing as systematic racism and whatever. Okay, fine. You want to believe them, but there comes a point in time when as a person you just gotta kind of put things into perspective and so on. Okay, let's forget about labels and everything. Okay, but we gotta come to a point where we gotta judge something on the basis of how does this make sense to you as a person. Forget about who's calling it out. Forget about whose names and faces to an issue. But the fact of the matter is that a person of influence, I think political influence as well, but in Christendom, especially to those who are conservatives, who identify as conservative in America, all right, came out and just said, hey, look, this is dumb.
The police, why don't they open their eyes to what the public relations are? They've got to stop this stuff.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of attention because that's what the power of influence really holds. It's important to understand the influence that you have as a person and over a lot of different views. And look, here's the thing. Let me break down. I feel like I need to break some few things down for you or for us here a little bit. Okay, when it comes to prejudice or discrimination or anything, it's really all about, it's not always about the color of how someone looks, the skin color, okay? Prejudice or discrimination has to do with a perception that you have or that I as a person has about a different group of people or another race or a different culture or whatever. And if you don't have that kind of experience of what it's like to live in India or in China or in a different neighboring country or a different village for that matter, okay? If you don't understand the culture of that individual and where they're from, how they think as a people, but you have a perceived stereotypical mindset that's based off what you consume, the jokes that you hear, what you hear from other people. You grew up hearing all these things. We all have that about every race. Every race, every culture has that about everyone. I have that about other different other different African countries, or different ethnicities, different customs. In South Africa, we've got like plus minus 14, 15, different ethnic groups, not ethnic groups, sorry. We've got about 14, 15 languages, 11 official languages, but we have more than 11, okay? I mean, seriously, Zulu, Xhosas, Ndebele, Swazis, Venda, Tshivhasa, English, Africans. Look, we've got Sotho, we've got Tswana, and we all grew up under these notions and so on. We're all connected in some ways and so on, but over time, our thinking changes. Over time, you begin to sort of, because you don't live in a different area, you begin to have, certain ideas based off what you hear from people who either travel, or probably different stereotypical things that you consume from media. And it's even worse if you're talking about a country that's a distance from you, okay? And that shapes a lot about your perceptions about the way they live, their culture, their customs, them as a people, their intelligence, okay, their way of life, okay? And if it comes across in some way that it's something that's lesser of, the lesser of what you presume to be better in terms of economically, standard of life, education, politics, whatever the case may be, you ultimately assume that that person comes from that place where they eat dogs, they eat, I don't know, they live under huts or whatever, they don't have clothes, or whatever the case may be. If your perceptions are about an African or someone in India, or whatever the case may be, that's what it really is about, okay? There is no way for you as a human being to not know or to not have a misconception about another race. And what does that do when it comes to a situation where you are a police officer and you are in charge, or you are responsible for ensuring the safety of the citizens, but you cannot distinguish the difference between somebody who's innocent and who's guilty, or your treatment of people obviously will be based off your perception. We talk about it. You hear a lot about this. White privilege. Okay, fine. Here's a problem. People got a problem with the word white. It's a privilege before there's a color to it. Everybody has a privilege. You understand? Everybody. I mean everybody. We all have a privilege of some sort. White people just have a problem with the fact that there's a color associated with it. There is. I'm not going to get into that right now, but the point of the matter is, it's important for a person of influence to talk about these type of things, because it makes you to kind of wonder, okay, look, if he's talking about it, then maybe there is an issue. Maybe there is a problem here that people are probably not really talking about it. And we as Christians, and this is what really kind of irritates me, I'm not surprised that it happens in this world. I'm not surprised that this police brutality and this stupid nonsense that happens in this world, whether it's racism or you call it whatever, white supremacy. It's evil. It's all in the face of evil, okay? Nothing new under the heavens. Vanity of all vanities, all is vain, okay? What I can't get as Christians, when you are a Christian, when you believe in a God of justice, okay, that's the part that I can't really get. That's what always used to kind of irritate me about that, is that how do you, as a person who happens to, honestly, you believe in God, a God who created his children, who's a person who studies the Bible, where you read, the Corinthians, the Galatians, Ephesians, the book of Titus and Philemon, my God, all of those books, where there are so many different references to the Bible, where the Apostle Paul is discussing issues that have to do with culture, race, different customs and traditions, how they are irrelevant, because in God's eyes, we are one nation under God, that Christ has liberated us. How do you read the Bible and how do you think about certain things? How do you still believe that you're a God-believing person and you somehow think, for some reason, you're not affected by certain things, or there's absolutely nothing wrong with you saying certain things about the other individual or another culture or another race or whatever the case is? Or when certain people are saying that, hey, you know what, look, this is what we're going through right now. This is what we're dealing with in this world. And you're like, nah, that's not true. Not true because you're liberal. That's not true because of this label. That's not true, because this is what the stats say. You're always looking for something, a reason to dismiss someone's experience on the basis of what? What does it give you? What does it take away from you? That's the stuff that it just kind of irritates. It gets to me a little bit. The first reaction of a Christian should be to always lean more towards trying to understand somebody's experience and their hardships, as opposed to trying to look for a reason to dismiss their experience. That's disheartening. That is disheartening. And it's in a lot of ways it comes across as just mean, and it doesn't make sense. And as Christians, there's got to come a point in time where we got to recognize that. We got to recognize that, you know what, there has to be a difference between the way we approach certain issues, whether it's from a political point of view or it's a biblical issue or whatever. We fight a different battle. We fight a spiritual battle. We got to get to a point where we understand that there are problems in this world. We got to recognize them for what they are. Are there situations where some people maybe try to take advantage of a situation and try to misrepresent it as if it's racism, or there's racism involved, and there probably isn't? Yeah, sure, there probably is, but it doesn't dismiss a situation where it's a legitimate case. Racial profiling issue. Okay, there's good, bad, and ugly in this world. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be Christian. We gotta be clear about it. We gotta be sober-minded about some things that we gotta discuss as Christians, period. And that's it. And big ups to Pat for coming out and really saying that. That's the importance of being a person of influence and being in a position where you are influential. We gotta speak up. If you're a celebrity, you gotta speak up. It's important. It really is important. All right. You guys tell me what you think about this. I'm just happy that, there's something that seems like it's exciting in Christendom that's happening and going down. These are interesting times. They're difficult and trying times, but they're interesting nonetheless. And it's really interesting because a lot of this stuff tends to happen, and it was happening in the same area that George Floyd was murdered, actually, because that's what happened. He was murdered. Yeah, I know there are some people that are saying otherwise and whatever, but why are you saying otherwise? What's it to you to say otherwise? Does it ever occur to people why they just always seem to want to jump to, okay, I don't know, politics? Guys, I'm just saying that we fight a different battle. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we gotta be prayerful about this stuff. All right. God bless you guys, and keep praying and remain prayerful, and thanks for watching. All right, God bless.